Welcome to the Grow Your Law Firm podcast, brought to you by Pilma. This podcast helps lead lawyers to more growth, profit, and freedom. Here is your legal marketing expert and host, Ken Hardison.
And welcome to another episode of Grow Your Law Firm. And today we have the honor of having Chris Nelson with CallRail. Thank you for being here today, Chris.
Thank you for having me, Ken.
Absolutely, man. So for our people out there, listeners that don't know, tell us what CallRail is and what does the company do, and why should we care?
Well, CallRail is a software company. We call ourselves a lead intelligence platform. So we've got a couple different software products that we offer. One is a call tracking situation. One is a form tracking product. One is a conversation intelligence product. And then we also have a lead center product. And each of those really allow you to track the leads that are coming into your firm and then be able to understand the conversations that are being had, and to be able to potentially, if you want to go to the lead center side, also have some kind of business communications tool.
Yeah. So let's talk about, because I think, here's the thing, and I don't know if you get this sometimes, but when I first started doing advertising in '96, there wasn't as many things out there. And we use tracking numbers like on our yellow pages, which doesn't exist anymore, on our TV ads, and on our radio ads and on our billboards, that was pretty much it. I mean, we didn't have any, very little internet when I first started. It was just starting. We didn't have social media. That tells you how old I am, Chris. But now there's just such a plethora of different stuff out there. And my, here's what I have lawyers tell me: the ones that are really spending millions on advertising, they really can't. Attribution is almost impossible anymore, because they could have seen you on TV, then they go to your website, then they fill out a form, and you don't really know. And I did it the old-fashioned way back in the '90s and the 2000s. I just asked them. I said, "How'd you hear about us? And what were you looking at when you dialed the number?"
Yeah.
And between those two things, I got it right probably 2/3 of the time, and I probably still screwed it up 1/3 of the time, because I'd have people say, "Well, I saw you. I saw you on a billboard," and at that time I wasn't doing billboards, so I knew that they just told me something. So but the thing about what you're saying, let's start at the beginning, because I think it is important. Even if you're spending a lot of money, some of this software you got sounds to me like it could really help a law firm. And if I was still practicing, I'd be using it. I can tell you that. What's the source tracking?
So, yeah, I mean, there's no doubt, Ken, it can definitely help lawyers and the law firms when they're marketing. I practiced 2006 for about 5 years in small and mid-sized firms. And the available technology now is light years ahead of where it was even then. Right. So, it really gives you the opportunity, I think, as a small firm or as a mid-sized firm, to be able to compete in a way that you could not then with others. So with respect to, the question that you asked, source tracking goes along with what you were talking about with your billboard ad, your TV ad, your radio ad. It allows you to put a number on those ads and to track what calls are coming in from those ads and or the forms that are being submitted on your website. So that's really the kind of table stakes kind of tracking that you want to be doing if you are trying to understand where your leads are coming from and what marketing campaigns might be working and what might not. But it does not really solve that kind of attribution problem that you're talking about if you are doing digital marketing at the same time as you're doing that kind of traditional advertising and different things like that, because you are being faced with multi-touch attribution, right? And, in that respect, you've got, like you said, you can ask the people where, how did you find out about us? Where did you hear about us? That kind of stuff. But they're not always going to give you an answer. They're not always going to give you the right answer, right? Yeah. And it may just be, hey, I got something, I saw your billboard, But then I also saw your TV commercial and I saw your website, and somehow I end up giving you a phone call, right? So, what we've done is we've also got with our call tracking product what's called visitor level tracking, which really benefits anybody in the legal space who's doing digital marketing, because that allows you to basically show a different phone number to each person who's coming on your website. And when you can see that, you can really get down to the visitor level of this person came from here, this person came from here, this person came from here, and really kind of, if you tie it into also the feedback that you're getting on almost a qualitative basis from people, you really get some idea of where that attribution is coming from and what types of campaigns are being successful.
So when you say you can give each one of them, so y'all furnish all the numbers then, right?
Correct.
And so each time a person comes on there, they might be looking at a different number, like if they're on a form page or something, or on the home page and it says, the number up there, that could be different depending on who went on there.
That's right. And then it stays the same if it's the same visitor. So they don't
tracks their IP address, right?
Correct.
And for those that don't know, even though I'm on the low part of the totem pole when it comes to technology, but IP addresses, everybody has one.
That's right.
On your, I guess it's on your, I just know everybody has IP address. I don't really know what it is. I mean, what is the IP address?
It's tied to your computer.
Yeah.
Or whatever device you're using.
Yeah, your phone or your tablet or
Correct.
Yeah. And
or you can be like me and you're the guy who hits the no cookies, right? So that's the way to block it.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, I think like Netflix and a lot of these companies are getting ready to block it because they can probably tell different IP addresses. People like, I give my son my password for Netflix, and he can watch Netflix off of me for free.
Yep.
I think they're getting ready to stop that, but that's the way. I guess that's the way they're going to stop it, is looking at IP addresses.
Yeah, I mean, and like, so the other day I was on YouTube TV, and we have multiple devices that are hooked up to YouTube TV, and there was a limit to the number. It came up with a pop-up screen that said you've hit your number of devices, right? Because there were too many people utilizing the YouTube TV account, and that's how it was telling. It was by device.
Yeah. So you got the source, and then you got visitor level tracking, and then what else? You said something about something else, some other type of maybe it was forms.
Yeah. So the form tracking is really, I look at it as, if you're a lawyer, you're looking to get leads, right? And you want to track where those leads are coming from. And in order to track those leads, you need to track both your phone calls that you're getting and your form submissions. Because if you don't have both of those, you're not getting the complete picture, right? I mean, you might get 80% of your leads coming in on the phone, but at the same time, there's still maybe 20% who are coming in they're submitting a form to your website. So you need to be able to track both of those.
Yeah. And then the last thing you talked about, which I really want to talk about in detail, is this conversation intelligence, because I've never heard about this. We talk about CallRail a lot, believe it or not, Chris, in our masterminds.
Mm-hmm.
Because I encourage my members that are using CallRail to, people respect what you inspect, and to like have somebody in the law firm pick out at least 2 or 3 calls from each intake person each week and just listen to them,
Yep.
and grade them out and see how they're doing. And here's what happens. They start out fine, but then they get busy, life gets in the way, and they don't do it. And again, then you're sitting there and spent all this money on marketing. And the big deal is, it's not how many leads you get, it's how many cases you sign up. And that means you got to convert. I tell people you need to convert 95% of the cases you want. And most lawyers think they do, but they don't, because when we go back and check, they're more like 75 to 80%. Until they start getting on top of their intake people. and their lawyers or whoever's doing intakes and start tracking it and knowing what the percentage is that you're actually signing up. Because, and I don't know why, but all the lawyers think they sign up every case they want, and I prove it to them every time they don't. And it's money that they're leaving on the table. So tell me about this conversation intelligence, because this is something new. I hadn't heard of this before.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it goes back to, you got to look at your marketing holistically, right? Just what you were saying, you have the marketing on the front end that's really bringing in your leads. But then you have that whole intake process, which is really part of your client experience. And within that client experience, I mean, that's just as much it's just as much a way for you to get from lead to customer or lead to client as it is, as any other part of the funnel, as the digital marketing campaign that you're running, as anything like that. So what conversation intelligence allows you to do is to record every call that's coming in, to transcribe every call that's coming in, then to be able to tag keywords within those calls. So you can sit there and say, I want to listen to every call that has an auto accident mentioned in it, and be able to do that just with a click of the button, as opposed to potentially going back and listening to recordings or anything like that. Knowing that, you've just got so many time constraints as a lawyer. But then you can also, what we've added recently is call summaries, which basically takes that whole transcript and boils it down into about a paragraph. And so if you're working through that, you can also keyword tag your summaries so that you can sit there and just peruse the summaries of, say, the 10 calls that mentioned auto accident. And then you have another level that you can utilize, which is call sentiments, which allows you to basically put some parameters in and then determine, was the call a positive call? Was the call a negative call? So that you can weave all of those things together and really work with what is going on with your client experience so that you can improve how intake is happening. So you can give coaching to the people that you've got on the front line who are actually talking with prospective clients, and then being able to sit there and say, okay, I noticed that you said this. I noticed that you said this, or I noticed that when you said this, the client reacted this way, and we weren't able to convert on that. But you could have reacted this way, and we can use that to convert the next one who comes on board. All of that's now available to you really at the click of a button.
And how were you able to do this? What?
It's everybody's favorite term. It's AI.
All softwares are using it now. I mean, Canva's got it. I mean, everybody's putting it into their mix because, hey, it makes it better, right?
Yeah. I mean, and we'd like to think that we were kind of on a leading edge of things because we've had this product for several years now.
Really?
Yeah, we really just have not realized what was capable with it and what people might potentially use it for, and really kind of pushed to say, hey, lawyers, this could really benefit them in their practice.
So, yeah, because we talk about it, and I've never heard a lawyer talk about the conversation intelligence aspect. I've heard them talk about, the forms and the source and actually recording the calls, but I've never heard about, I don't know if they didn't know it or they just, whatever.
Yeah.
But
when I look at it, I mean, digital marketing is getting so expensive, and it's table stakes for the people in the space to get into those campaigns. I really think the way you can differentiate yourself as a law firm is with that more cohesive client experience that you can offer to really build that kind of trust with potential clients.
Yeah. So I know what people are thinking right there. Yeah, this all sounds great, but can I afford it? I mean,
you're bringing in multi-million-dollar cases. You can definitely afford CallRail over here.
Well, y'all charge about a minute, or you charge a monthly fee, or what, or about a call, or what?
It's a monthly fee, unless you've got something where people are utilizing just thousands of numbers, or lots of numbers, lots of minutes, and then it's going to get above that. But I mean, it's very affordable. I mean, I think we're underpriced for what we offer. But it's something where just within your practice, the ability to to have something that with that complete package could be $200, that's something that is easily within the realm of what you could do.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. So if somebody's interested in it, if they're not using it, or if they are using it and want to add on the sentiments or whatever, conversation intelligence sentiments, which I think they should, how do they purchase this? Who did it go to? Where did it go?
I mean, if you are already using it, you just need to go into your account and you can be able to add it. If you're a net new customer who is interested in using the products, our website is callrail.com, CALLRAIL.com. And there's a sign up for a free trial right there. And it's a 14-day free trial.
Well, you got nothing to lose. I like that.
Nope. And that gives you the opportunity to try it out and see, with a couple numbers or something like that, whether it's worthwhile for you as your firm.
Yeah. Okay. So anything I didn't ask you that I should have asked you, or anything you'd like to add before we call it a day?
I mean, I just think it's really, it's interesting. There is an additional use. It's probably less so with the personal injury practice space because there's no billable hours to it.
Right.
But with respect to an area where you might have billable hours, the ability to have your calls recorded and transcribed and have the minute that they happened and, how long it lasted and different things like that makes a ton of sense as a way to cover yourself with a record when you're billing, or if you were to ever get into a kind of malpractice situation.
Right.
So
yeah, that's good. That's smart. Yeah. I just love it. Yeah. I mean, it's AI, it's here, baby. And whether we're ready for it or not, it's here. Well, like y'all been using it even before. The deal is Google's been using AI for years, 10 years. Yeah. I mean, a lot of people have been using it, but I don't know. This Chat GPT just kind of brought a whole new realm or something. I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, it's hard to believe, but it's like, it's just been a snowball once they introduced that.
Yeah. It's the craziest thing I've ever seen. I mean, thought the internet was something, but this makes the internet look like a golf ball compared to a beach ball. I mean, it's just nothing like it. Well, listen, thank you so much. And hopefully we can get you out to Pilma or next year. Too late for next week because we're there next week. And we're recording this the week before the summit. So that's in case this gets aired afterwards. But anyway, thank you so much, Chris. It was good talking to you and sharing this new thing to me. Anyway, it might not be to everybody, but this conversational intelligence and sentiments, I think that's a big deal. That's a game changer for me.
Yeah. I mean, I love it. I think it's great. And like I said earlier, I mean, the opportunity to have had it in my practice would have been a game changer.
Yeah, absolutely.
So right. I just appreciate you having me on.
Oh, no problem, man. Well, listen, that's all for now. And until next time, this is Ken Hardison, dedicated to your success.
You have been listening to the Grow Your Law Firm podcast, the podcast that leads lawyers to more growth, profit, and freedom. Go to growyourlawfirm.com to find more ways to market and manage your law firm. Please leave us a rating and review wherever you listen to your podcasts.